Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are building a home that I think would be really perfect for the 100 baby challenge. Now, when I was first building this home, that was not the idea. I was just trying to make kind of a bigger family home, and I really wanted to build in Willow Creek because I feel as though I haven't built here in some time. I say that and I should probably look at my most recent builds because I actually have no idea. But I felt as though I hadn't built here in a long time, and I wanted to build something that was just like classical, stereotypical US suburban. So you could see I was kind of going for almost a darker color scheme here with the shutters on the windows. And I was just trying to make a very basic shape, and I wanted to add a garage. That's all I knew. Like, that's all I wanted to do. But then I was also on Pinterest and I was seeing a lot of homes, more so Victorian homes, I would say. So I'm not really sure what style of home this turns out to be, but I saw a lot of homes that kind of had these attached gazebos to a front porch. It looks a little bit odd, I think, at first in The Sims. Like, at least for me, that's just me. I think other people have done it before and it looks fantastic, but I've never done that. So you aren't necessarily going to see it on camera because I had to toy around with it for a couple of hours before I was comfortable. Like, I was so not comfortable at all with it, but I really liked how it ended up turning out. But before we even get to that point, we did use a lot of brick here because I was going off of this particular image on Pinterest, which I will put on screen for you now. But I realized the color scheme was just too dark. It wasn't filling me with the amount of joy that I was trying to get from this build. So I ended up going with blue because the blue siding, the white siding, and some of the more neutral tones, like some of the brown tones, are probably my favorites. But I thought it would be really cute to do like a little blue house because I hadn't done one in some time. And I still use the brick because we have the version of that siding with the brick on the bottom. And I went for pure white shutters because I think they just pop and they look really nice. And I also used some flowers from Cottage Living, the flower boxes. I think they're really sweet and they kind of gave this home, I'm not going to say a rustic look because it's not at all, but it gave it a little bit of a rustic touch, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But here we're trying to sort out this little wrap around porch, and that's when I kind of thought, you know, this looks a lot like maybe other homes that I've made before. I created these little dormers, trying to make it look a little bit different, and this is pretty much when I decided, like, I need something else to this porch because it just looks very rectangular, and it wasn't doing it for me at all. I really didn't really like it. I've done wraparound porches like this 1,000,001 times. I tried to add a little like chimney stack here, which I do end up doing. I think I put one on each side of the home. Is there even a fireplace in this build? Yes, there's one. There's one fireplace, but I never put the chimney stacks where the fireplaces are, though I think in this one I actually did. That's kind of wild. I've never done that before. But there is the little added gazebo, and like I said, it kind of looks a little bit awkward, I think, until I add the landscaping. Until I landscaped this build, it just looked very rigid to me. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but I really enjoyed the landscaping in this build. Since I haven't built in Willow Creek for what feels like a long time, I haven't used a lot of the plants that you'll see in the surrounding areas of this world. I haven't used them too often, though I want to say that this hydrangea, which I believe it's hydrangea, or is it a rhododendron plant? Ooh, I don't know. I think it's hydrangea. I haven't used a lot of the plants that are here in some time, and again, I just wanted this home to be vibrant and happy and joyful, which is also what led me to make it a 100 baby challenge home. So you are going to find 5 bedrooms. We have mom's room, a teen room, a kid room, a toddler room, and a nursery. Yeah, I think we have 5 bedrooms, and there's something like 7 bathrooms. It's a little much. However, when you have a household of 8 Sims at various life stages continuously cycling in and out of the house, I thought, you know what? This is the one time I'm going to be comfortable with the number of bedrooms outweighing the number of bathrooms outweighing the number of bedrooms. So I really hope you guys like it. It's a pretty big house, even though it might not look it. And that garage, I do end up making it a, in little air quotes, a functional garage. Like there's some garage-like activities there. And here I'm trying to figure out a fence because I was trying not to use a fence in the build and buy catalog. I typically gravitate towards a lot of the debug fence pieces that we have because they're really flexible, but I couldn't really find one this time. at least not one with the flexibility that I was looking for. And then I thought about, let's just go with stereotypical white picket fence. And I didn't like that either. So I decided to just use plants and kind of fence in the yard. I don't know how else to explain that, but I thought it actually looked really nice. And now we're moving on to the interior with the floor plan. Okay. All right, pause here. This floor plan took me hours. I attempted 7 different times to find a floor plan. It was so hard, and it all came down to, I don't know, just where I wanted to separate different spaces. I wanted it to be fairly open. I wanted to use a lot of archways, but the stair placement is also what got me. So we made the floor plan, and then I attempted a kitchen. I couldn't come up with a color scheme to save my life. I attempted the kitchen roughly 5 times before completely giving up and moving on to the living room, which is where we're trying to start things out. Now, I went actually to a website, and I'm going to show you the color scheme or the color palette in a second. But I went to this website, and I will link it either in a comment or in the description, but it generates color schemes and color palettes for you. And you can like lock certain colors if you like them, and it will start building other colors around it. It's so cool. I had never thought of this before, and I'd never known of a tool to do this. So it was really fun because it gave me this cool color scheme that I could immediately picture. And I knew I also wanted this home to be somewhat contemporary, but still really cozy. So I used a lot of like Dream Home Decorator and Tiny Living. That Tiny Living lamp shows up many a time, but I will put the color palette for you on screen now. And again, the link to that website will be down in the description or a pinned comment, whichever one I remember to do. And it pretty much set the tone for the entire build. Every single room in this house follows that color scheme, except for the garage because it's a garage. But I loved the living space. It pretty much, I'm going to say it again, it set the tone for every other room in the house. I loved the living room very, very, very much. I loved using these Dream Home Decorator couches because I haven't used them in a long time now, and I just like them in the pure white, but I do something fun, and I learned this. Well, I'll say I didn't come up with the idea, but I kind of was inspired by a recent build by Miss Griffey, the very, very talented Miss Griffey. Tanya was doing some fun stuff with the tool mod. She was taking meditation cushions and I think little like poof stools and making them look like pillows. So she was using the tool mod to kind of like turn them and put them on the couches. And I've done that with meditation stools before. I think I did it in a Tartosa build or two, which may or may not already be up on the channel. Oh gosh, I don't even know. I don't know when this is going up. Anyway, I've seen other people do this. I believe Julia Builds did this as well. The ever talented, like she's also amazing. And that's what I did. I did it off screen just because it did take me a little while to get the angles correct, but I used these little poofs from Snowy Escape with this blue and white pattern on them, and then I used the green swatch of some of the meditation cushions, and I placed them on the couches and the chair because it matched the color scheme so perfectly. The small accents really pulled it all together for me. However, I will be very transparent, and I will note that this does block your Sim's ability to sit on the 2 ends of the couch. So for playability with the 100 baby challenge, if you wanted all of your Sims to like sit on the couch and watch TV together or something, it would not be possible. So I was really just having fun. It added a lot of decoration, but if you wish to remove those, if you're not playing with a huge family like that or something, please delete them. They can just be deleted as you would delete any other item, but I wanted to make sure I let you all know that. I know there might be comments on the gallery saying that you can't sit on the couch. I'm prepared for it. I am ready. But I am trying to find some other decorations for this space because whenever I center a longer, again in little air quotes, a longer living room like this, it's harder for me to kind of decide what else should fill the space because that space that's left is not a lot. It's always hard for me to fill it. So I did put a console table over here with a few different decorations, and I ended up, because I completely forgot this as I was kind of laying out the living room, is I did add the door to the back porch, so that gave me a little less space that I had to fill. I ended up putting a bookshelf in the corner there, as you can see, and then just like a little kid chair over here as well. And trying to find a piece of artwork was increasingly difficult in this space here. I really don't know why. I think it's because I was trying not to use the beautiful kind of like landscaping painting that we have from base game. I feel like you guys already know which one I'm talking about, but it kind of looks more like a country landscape. I use that a lot in bedrooms, and I was trying not to use it in the living room for some odd reason. But we are now moving on to the kitchen, which I really like. It's kind of a different setup than I've done before. It's well, it's kind of a galley kitchen. I've done galley kitchens before, but I do put the informal dining table right in between because it was kind of a longer space, which was to my benefit. I think I did a setup like this in an apartment at one point. I think it was like an Airy family apartment. I believe that was it. I'm going to link it in the top right-hand side of the screen so you guys can watch it if you would like. But I think that was the last time I did a setup like this, and I just had so much space to play with that it felt so organic to do it this way. And thinking about a house full of kids, it was perfect. So this is going to be the kitchen. It is set up basically with the fridge and I want to say the sink on one side and then the oven and stovetop and everything on the other. And I used so many details in this kitchen. I really like it. Also, I'm using the tool mod to scale up the fridge. I think I want to say it was Simlessy. I think that she did that to kind of fill the space, and I thought that was genius. So I wanted to do that here too because it really did. I hate the gap between the counters and the fridge. It drives me nuts. So that was an absolutely ingenious idea. And you guys probably have noticed because I've mentioned a few different creators at this point. I have been learning about Tool a little bit more because I was always so hesitant. So I decided to watch a few creators that have been using Tool a lot recently, and I feel far more comfortable with it. I feel far more at ease. I don't know if you guys played with the tool mod. Do you find it easy? Do you find it difficult? And if you do use it, what do you typically use it for? Do you create like custom objects? Do you just kind of scale things? Because that's mainly what I do, is I just scale items. I don't really create custom items that much. The only thing that I've done really is add those pillows to the couch. Like, that's as creative as I can get. But this is pretty much coming together, the kitchen. There's going to be so many little details in here, considering I was planning this for a household with like 7 kids minimum at all times. I wanted it to really reflect the large family that I would envision living here. So I was trying to kind of figure out the wallpapers and whatnot, but then I start adding all these details. So there's going to be like a bag of groceries. There's going to be like cute little planters everywhere, like this one. This one from the Bluing Rooms kit. It's so freaking cute, and I don't use it very much because it fits a certain kind of build for me. But anyway, there's going to be like a bag of groceries. There are going to be a lot of clutter items on the counters. I added a high chair, but as I mentioned, I think in another build recently, I added a high chair purely as decoration because using high chairs in The Sims can be very, very frustrating because the toddlers never stay in them to actually eat their food. They're always asking to be taken out, and Sims will automatically do it, which drives me nuts. Therefore, this one is purely decorative. However, you could, of course, move it if you did want it to be functional. You could change it out with one of the chairs that's actually clipped to the table. And there's going to be a big formal dining room with a high chair that you can, in fact, access. So I thought that that kind of balanced things out a little bit. I added that, like, partially eaten fruitcake on the table because I could imagine that all the kids, like maybe as they're running out the door or something, are just sneaking little bites as they go because mom just can't keep up with all of them. There's also some floating shelves over here, and something that I thought was really cute. I was thinking about this because of the cook together feature. Now, I did not set up this kitchen for you to really be able to do that with your Sims. With the 100 baby challenge, like, are you really going to want to try to have your kids cook with you? There's so many of them, and it's probably purely chaotic. So I figured no. I don't know, but I decided to take the stool out of the debug menu. It's one that they take out when they're doing the cook together action, the kids. They'll like, it'll have like a stool that appears and then they step up on the stool and they can work at the counters right there. It's so cute and very simple. So I decided to put it near one of the other counters, and I put one near the little toddler high chair as well, just to really emphasize that there are littles in this home at all times. I added the little bread box that looks like it was painted by kids, and those decorative plates that come with parenthood. I think I used them a few different times throughout this build too, just as, again, little mementos that the kids have made for mom. There's also that little calendar because I'm assuming that these kids are like all in sports and after school activities, and it's chaotic to try to keep up with schedules. And now we are moving on to the big formal dining room, which I was really pleased with. I really wanted this space because I knew that a smaller dining table was not going to fit a full family of like 8 Sims. So getting a big, long, large dining table in here with, I want to say 8 seats. Yeah, there's 3 on each side. There's going to be the toddler high chair. Maybe I put one on the other side. I can't remember, but more Sims. How about, we're going to go with that. More Sims can sit at this dining table than they can in the kitchen. And I was also able to use this china cabinet from Cats and Dogs that I barely get to use because it's so big. There have been times that I've sized it down. I want to say maybe like 1 or something like that to be able to use it in a build that has the short wall height, because right now I'm actually using the medium wall height. But it was perfect to put in here. It matches the color scheme, and I just thought it looked really nice. I also added this little doggy planter from Cats and Dogs on the dining table. I just use a lot of like fun rugs too. Like this one is from, I want to say Backyard Stuff. The one in the kitchen is from Discover University. Again, just trying to tie in the color scheme. And we happen to have so many objects to actually do that. And the wood tones, like I love this wood tone so much that I used throughout this build. A lot of items, again, from Cats and Dogs work perfectly, as well as Parenthood. And then the dining table is actually base game, the one that Hey Harry contributed in an update some time ago. So it came together really nicely. Over here, I do just add the little kind of console table with more plates and stuff. It might be overkill with the china cabinet, but I just wanted to use something different instead of a console table that I've used 101 times. Then I placed that little, I think it's technically a wall decoration from, is that from Parenthood or is that from Kids Room Stuff? Sometimes I get confused, but I thought it was really cute and I use it a few different times in this build in different spaces because I think that the kids are drawing pictures all the time and there really just isn't enough wall space to hang everything. So I used it a few different times throughout the build, but then this is going to be the only downstairs bathroom, which is a bit odd. So most of the bathrooms are up on the 2nd floor. And considering there's like 7 of them or something crazy like that, is it 7? Am I making that up? No, I think it's like 7. So most of them are upstairs. Is it 7? Oh, we're going to find out. I really don't know, but there's a lot of bathrooms. We're going to leave it at that. But only one bathroom being downstairs to me was a little bit, it made me a little bit uneasy, but I did make it a full bathroom to kind of compensate for that feeling. I'm just thinking of having to like send everyone upstairs to use the bathroom and get ready or something like that. It might be a little bit tedious. However, that's just what I ended up doing. So this is going to be a full bathroom. I did use that little kind of like a tub of kids' toys to make it seem like they're just a bunch of bath toys. I thought that was kind of a cute idea, and since it's not a functional toy chest anyway, I think it works. There's going to be multiple toddler potties in every single bathroom just in case the toddlers are on the 1st or 2nd floor. And then I quickly decorate this little hallway area, which was big and open, so the kids can just like run across the house if they want to. There's a couple of bookshelves, a few of those poofs again to kind of tie in that color scheme. And I think I do add, I want to say I add an aquarium in kind of that little separated hallway area to those double doors, which that room, okay, that room could be turned into another bedroom if you wanted to. You would have to have a mod to have like more than 8 Sims in your household with the amount of beds and everything that I have in this build. But you could turn it into a bedroom, but I made it a very small activity room for the kids. So there's going to be, I want to say like a chemistry station, there's going to be a dollhouse and a desk for them to do homework and stuff. It's not as big of a playroom as I would have imagined, but I thought I had more space to play with. I was also considering making it an office for Mom to go ahead and make paintings or write things, because with the 100 Baby Challenge, Mom cannot have a job that makes her leave the house. She has to do things at home that will provide income. So I was thinking it was going to be Mom's office, but again, I thought it was kind of too small for that too, and I just really didn't like what I was coming up with. So I moved on to the garage, which I thought was really cute. Now looking back on it, I kind of wish that I had sunk it into the ground a little bit more and had added a few steps down instead of keeping it at level with the rest of the home, but I still think it came out really cute, and it's a decent sized garage, so there are going to be a few different activities here as well, including laundry. Now for the 100 Baby Challenge, I really don't know how many of you would also want to add laundry on top of everything else you have to do, but it's here if you want to use it. And you could of course get rid of it and put whatever activities in the garage that you'd like. But I think I do add a flower arranging station, I want to say. There's a bicycle in here, some other items that kind of look like garage clutter, as well as a punching bag. So Mom can go let out her frustrations about parenting 7 kids on her own in the garage on the punching bag. That was my thought. I love kids, but 7 of them continuously to add up to 100? Nope. I would be touched out. I would be frustrated. I empathize with parents. I really do. I want to be a mom at some point. Man, parenting can be hard though, right? I give all you parents kudos. Anyway, the garage is pretty much almost together at this point, just trying to grab those items that I mentioned and figure out a place to put them. I also added a basketball hoop. because I always forget about that item whenever I make a garage, and I thought it would be perfect to put it outside in the driveway. And you'll notice that the garage door that I used is actually the mural garage door from City Living, and I put it on the exterior and the interior. So I think I might actually have to play test this further. I think you'd be able to create murals on both sides of it, which is kind of super fun because that's an activity that mom could take part in to up her creativity. Well, not creativity skill, her painting skill. I think it would be painting for teens as well. I don't think kids can do it, but anyway, there's also a vacuum and a Roomba because this house is likely to get super messy. And then I just quickly finished decorating that little space before we move on to the upstairs. And this is where all the bedrooms are and the rest of the bathrooms. Now with this space, because the stair placement was so difficult, I had trouble making rooms that were the size that I wanted them to be. And I'm now remembering it definitely wasn't 7 bathrooms. That was an entirely different home. This has 3 bathrooms. Wow, that's a big difference. I don't know how I didn't think about that. I think there's only 3 bathrooms in this whole build, so good luck to all of you if you do play this challenge in this home. Since the stair placement was super difficult as well, the hallway's a little bit odd. You can see that I had to use an angled wall piece at one point to actually separate things and leave ample space for that landing area. And the first room that we try to work on is mom's room, and I chose this bed from Cats and Dogs and this room in particular, and then I just didn't really like it. I wanted mom to have, I don't know, I like this bed from Cats and Dogs. It's one of my favorite beds, don't get me wrong, but it really wasn't fitting the vibe of the house since it was a little bit more contemporary. So I do end up taking this bed from Seasons and I use it in this swatch with the bright green and teal. I don't think I've ever used this before, but again, it matched the color scheme perfectly. And I was like, yes, it's vibrant. We're doing it. I love it. We're definitely going to do it. So this is going to end up being mom's room. I was just playing around with some of the window placements and heights because they were a little bit odd with the roof pieces I had on the exterior. But she does have a dresser over here. I finally used that hanging plant from the Blooming Rooms kit. I hadn't used it once in this build. I think I deserve a pat on the back for that because I typically use it in every single room in a build, at least lately. So I ended up using it here in her room, and she does have some clutter items. There aren't any activities in here. I just wanted this to be her little calm oasis away from all of the kids. I also used the open wardrobe from Dream Home Decorator, but I did size down the shelf piece by 1 because it's just so freaking big. But I thought it was nice. She has like a rotation. Oh, what is that called? There's a certain name for it, that kind of wardrobe or closet, where you have like a rack of clothes that you'll rotate through for the season. Oh, I wish I knew the name. I've been wanting to do that too, by the way, for a very long time, but I am lazy and I haven't done it yet, but I really want to. But she has a few cute little items in here. There's some clutter things, and then we move on to, I want to say, the toddler room. Yeah, here it is, the toddler room. And I put 2 toddler beds in here because I feel as though there's probably more toddlers, kids. I would say more so toddlers or kids, right? That's typically what I've noticed is there's a lot of like toddlers and kids compared to even teens in the household when people play the 100 baby challenge. At least that's what it was like for me when I did it very briefly, which I lost my sanity. That's why I didn't do it anymore. I'm not completely abandoning it. I still have the save file itself, but I haven't played that in a very long time. But I added 2 toddler beds in here. And of course, if you do use this for a challenge or just a bigger family, you can customize any of these rooms to your liking, whatever suits your Sims needs. Please do that. But I think the toddler room is so cute. I use these little car beds. I added the little Yamachan poofs at the end of each bed because they're so cute. It physically causes me pain. They have some building blocks. I think there's going to be, like I mentioned, the treehouse, like dollhouse thing downstairs in that skill building room. And then I just added 2 dressers, and I created kind of a faux changing table as well. I've done this a lot where you take an ottoman and you kind of raise it up within those dressers to make it look like a changing table, because toddlers, you'd still need one. And there's also going to be a faux changing table in the nursery, which only has 1 bassinet. So just be aware, you might have to add some additional bassinets depending on the whole situation. It makes it really hard with a house like this that's made for a challenge. It's difficult to balance out the different life stages and how much space you might need for all of them because it changes so frequently. So I just thought it was kind of a fun home to put together. And if you just have a large family, it might be really fun to play in a house like this. But anyway, I'm creating that faux changing table. At one point, I deleted something on the other side of the house, like maybe even on the first floor, and it deleted this ottoman that I just placed, it confused the absolute heck out of me. It actually may have been when I made the nursery on the other side of this room. It was very odd. I was actually experiencing a fair amount of glitches when I was building this house. Now, I don't know if they were glitches or if they were just things that I was causing, like that I was doing. I have no idea. But sometimes when you delete something on one side of the lot or in a home, it deletes something on the complete opposite side. And I will never, no matter how much you explain it to me, I won't understand it. I just won't. But in this hallway, there's going to be a family computer, so at least mom does have access to a computer to do some kinds of work from home. But I also added a little kid organizer thing to kind of like keep all their schedules in line, and a little, what's this called? A corkboard with a calendar and some other postcards and things. And then we end up moving on to, I want to say, the kids' room. And now the kids' room is a little bit small, but it does end up having bunk beds, which is, of course, a lifesaver now that we have those, because you can definitely fit more Sims in a room if you have bunk beds. So this is going to be the kid room, again, keeping the same color palette. And I really liked the kids' room. There is one activity in here for them. I want to say it's the creativity table. And they also have a desk so they can sit and do their homework or write in their journal or something like that. But there are more activities downstairs in the other room that they can take part in, including the chemistry station, like I mentioned earlier. But it's a little bit of a cramped room. I didn't have too much space, and I feel like with rooms that are long like this one, I tend to just try to put everything against the walls, and it makes it just look really, I don't know, I would genuinely feel a bit claustrophobic. I'm not trying to downplay actually being claustrophobic, but it just feels very enclosed. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It would make me feel very enclosed in a room like this with just having things up against the walls. So I did my best to keep it somewhat open and free-flowing, but it was difficult to do, especially with this bookcase kind of like in the middle of the room. It was odd, but it also created this little nook where I put some posters, the little knitting bag, a soccer ball, the mirror, and then I do add a couple of little poofs over here in the corner as well, just because they're really cute and I think they complement a kid's room very, very much so. And I think maybe just a poster. And I was able to get a lot in here for a room this small. I was kind of happy with it. I also clutter up on top of their little dresser here with a lamp and some other cute little things like some birthday cards and that little bunny statue. I also added some kid clutter, which I did playtest. It did not block my Sim's ability to get to the beds or the creativity table or the desk. However, if you do encounter an issue, that would be the first thing that I would recommend removing. It's so odd how some people experience like routing issues and things like that in their game and then others don't. I was very lucky. This is a topic of conversation with my good friends Reese and Rachel a lot. Poor Reese experiences every single known glitch in The Sims in his game constantly. I hadn't experienced basically anything. That's a big broad statement. I hadn't experienced a lot of the major glitches that people were experiencing in my game until the Error Zero code. I experienced that once and I was devastated. I know it's been resolved at this point, but anyway, we are moving on to the nursery where there is only the one bassinet, like I mentioned, and I thought it was such a cute space. I love making nurseries. I am still, like, fingers crossed, no matter how you feel about kits, I personally like some of them. Not all of them, some of them. And I'm really hoping for like a nursery kit or something like that, or like a toddler kit. I know we have toddler stuff, but it was a while ago, maybe a little outdated. I know we've gotten updates and stuff, but I think a nursery kit would be so nice because I love decorating nurseries. Even if it came with decorative changing tables or just different versions of that silly bassinet because I really dislike it. I'm also hoping for updated babies, but I'm not going to hold my breath because I know that might not be a thing that's going to happen. Anyway, this is the other faux little changing table. I added some debug bottles and diapers because I thought that would be so cute and a nice little detail to add. I also place a rocking chair in this corner, I think. And every time I place a rocking chair, I get sad because yet again, I'm never going to stop talking about this. I hope we get the ability to like rock babies or toddlers to sleep in the rocking chair. Or even just have them sit on an adult Sim's lap and rock with them. It would be so cute. I really, really want that. But I added a few pieces of artwork as well, added an additional rug, and then we end up moving on to the teenagers' room and some of these hallways here because there were so many hallways and I had to find a way to decorate them somehow, mainly with artwork. I was thinking of a dresser, but it was a little bit too big here, so I think I added a mirror and maybe some artwork. And then this is going to be the teens' room. I figured teens with so many younger siblings in the house deserved a little bit more space, so I was going to make it for 2 teens, realized that probably wouldn't work very well, and then I just did what I did in another build recently. Again, I don't know if it's up on the channel yet or not, but I did this in another build recently where I merged together 2 of the single beds to kind of make a custom double bed. You can tell that it's 2 single beds, but I still think it looked really nice. And again, the colors are so vibrant and happy. They bring me so much joy. But I used this dresser from Cottage Living because the wood tones matched perfectly. And then I just added a ton of different posters and things. I didn't add any real individual activities in the teen room because again, teens are more so, well, I can't say again because I haven't said this yet, but teens have the ability to develop skills that the young adult, and elder Sims have, so I didn't want to add any particular activities in here because they can go ahead and use anything else that's available to them, whereas kids and toddlers have very specific activities that they can take part in, so I felt it was important to include those in their bedrooms. I think here I just wanted it to be right on the verge of young adulthood, kind of youthful, but also a little bit more mature than some of the other rooms. And there was also a big closet because I know myself when I became a teenager, especially in high school, not really like the end of middle school, but high school, I started to go a little bit nuts with clothes. I don't know if any other teenagers were like that. I'm sure some of you were, but I kind of went crazy with clothes and I felt like I needed more closet space. So I thought that would be kind of appropriate for a teen to get a little bit more room in their room in general, and then also closet space. And then I also gave them a stereo because it'd be kind of fun to just like listen to music and zone out. Maybe, oh, I did add a guitar. So that is an individual activity, but still. I added a guitar in here, and then I just added a few more posters. And you guys are going to see it, I think, in the screenshots. If not, it's really cute. I think it's really cute. I took a lot of those little shoe clutter items from Dream Home Decorator, and I sized them down at the front door to make it look like adult, kid, and like baby shoes. I thought it was really cute. And now we're moving on to the exterior again to kind of wrap up the porches and the backyard. I did add a big long dining table out here in the gazebo. It was the perfect space for it. And you can see that I'm actually building during a heat wave, and that lighting, it's unmatched. It's so freaking good. But this is the outside dining table. I do add a grill very nearby so you can grill and then have your whole family sit outside and enjoy a meal. Don't mind Mortimer Goth on the front deck. I was not a fan. He looked a fool in the outfit that he was in. I also add a chess table out here. I think I had one inside as well at one point, but I might have removed it, so I added one to the exterior. There's the flower arranging station that I was thinking of earlier, and then I started to decorate the backyard, and I didn't really decorate the porches that much. Like, there's a few activities. I think there's another bench I put here, but I didn't want it to look too cluttered and messy. So in the backyard, there is going to be a pool, and I decided to go with like angled corners this time because the square pools were kind of getting old. I've done a lot of them recently, and I wasn't really a fan, so I wanted this one to look a little bit different. I don't know. I also used terrain paint here, and I wanted there to be a ton of activities outside, so there's the pool. There's going to be another outside dining table. That way, if you wanted to like all eat by the pool and then go for a swim, not recommended. You should probably wait at least a half hour, but if you wanted to do that, you'd be very, very nearby. And I did separate some spaces with just some plants carrying that landscaping through to the backyard. There's going to be a clothesline. I always want to say drying rack, and that's not correct, but there's a clothesline out here. There's going to be a toddler pool, some gardening plots, some lounge chairs. And then on the other side of this fence, on the non-fenced in part of this lot, I don't think I show it on camera, but I add some landscaping and then I add a little sandbox, and then the swing set, I end up moving on that side too. So you guys will likely see it in the screenshots because we are getting very close to the end of the build. I know that this was a long one. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for sticking to it if you made it this far, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Was it all just a dream, just all in my head? Floating rivers upstream, the things that this to move